Salute, folks. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor, Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker, and I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Before I go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So today, folks, I want to talk to you a little bit about auto insurance. I know one of my major things I talk about here is life insurance. But, I am licensed in all lines of insurance, so I do want to talk a little bit about auto insurance today. And looking at auto insurance in kind of how to be properly covered, especially if you're a person with money, and what auto insurance is really there for. Because I'll often hear people, I haven't had an accident in months, and, why is my car insurance going up, and why I don't get a refund from my car insurance? Is because you were covered. And the purpose of insurance, property insurance, is to pool a bunch of people's money together so that when you get into that car accident, and it's $10,000 like it was for mine to replace the front grille of my Benz when a guy backed into my Benz, you don't have to come out of your pocket $10,000. You might have to come out of your pocket $1,000 for your deductible, but other than that, you don't have to pay the full price of that repair. Or things like the price of a rental vehicle to replace your vehicle while the car that you own is in the shop, right? But I also want to talk about one very, very, very important aspect of auto insurance, which is your coverage amounts, right? So what I want to look at is limits of liability, right? And why do I want to look at limits of liability? Well, limits of liability is one of the portions that a lot of people end up screwing themselves on big time. And one reason is most people end up just getting... Where's my thing that automatically connected to my phone? There we go. One of the things about just getting liability, or not just getting liability, but in limits of liability, is people don't get enough liability coverage, right? So when you're looking at liability coverage, auto insurance doesn't just cover the liability of, a car accident. It can also cover the liability of vicarious liability. If you got a dog who bites someone or something, because a dog is property. Now, that would more likely be covered under your homeowner's insurance, yes, but it can be covered under your auto insurance too. So when you're looking at your limits of liability, you generally want to get a certain amount of coverage. One second, folks. You generally want to get at least, most people get state minimum, right? So I'll use New York as the state, because New York is the major state that I do auto insurance in, as well as Connecticut, right? But New York state minimums are 25, 50, 10. Those are your limits of liability. Now, I had a relative of mine, maybe he watches my channel, and I was having this conversation with him years ago because he was complaining about his full coverage prices. So I asked him, well, what are your limits of liability? He goes, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's liability only. No, sir. Limits of liability are in full coverage too. The reason I'm asking what are your limits of liability is because the limits of liability are, again, 25, 50, 10. So what does that mean? 25 means that State Farm or Geico or Allstate or whoever your car insurance is willing to pay up to $25,000 per person injured in an accident by your car that is not in your car. That's up to $25,000 per person. However, the caveat is the /50. So the /50 means that they will pay up to $50,000 for the entirety of the accident of anyone who was injured by your liability, by your car that is not in your car. Right? So limited liability only deals with people outside of your car, not inside of your car. Right? So now 10 is $10,000 worth of property damage. Last time I checked, it took $10,000 to replace the front grille on my Benz. So do you think $10,000 is going to be enough if you wreck my car to replace it? Methinks not, right? So those are some of the things that we're going through when we're looking at limits of liability, right? Just some of those things. I'm going to come back with another video in the near future, but I want you to start considering becoming what's considered a responsible insured. That means you want to have at least 100, 350 in terms of limits of liability. And I don't care if you have liability only or full coverage. Right now, we're just looking at the limits of liability. I can't believe I didn't bring my thing down. Right now, we're just looking at the limits of liability. And when it comes to those limits, 25, 50, 10 is not enough. You want to be at least 100, 350. That means that the car insurance company will pay up to $100,000 per person in the incident that's injured by your car that's not in your car, up to $300,000 per person for the entire incident of every person who's injured by your car that's not in your car, and up to $50,000 in total for an injury that is or damage to someone's property from your car. So that's just a couple of things to look at for now. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional. The links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.